In this video, I'll give you a quick reference on how to get in the Tiger and all the user controls, as well as how to access the rear cowl, the front cowl to do maintenance. The first step in getting into the car is to raise the protective pad to protect the seats. There's a pad that's hidden in the front. You just bring it around and place it here, and that gives you a place to step when you come in. To get in, put your right foot on the peg, grab on the sides, step in and over and onto the pad so you don't dirty the seat. Put your feet down and then just sort of control your drop in like so. To get out, it's very similar. Just sit up again, using these side pads. Put up your protective cover so you don't put any dirt on the seat, and come over. If you need extra room getting in or out, there is a quick release steering wheel to give you some more room. In the cockpit, you can take that protective flap and just put it down and out of your way. Let me go over some of the controls. There are hidden controls in the back of the steering wheel. The turn signals are on the left and right side. There's one here on the left, one on the right behind. Down below, there's another switch here for high beam, low beam, then of course, the horn. Up here you have light switch, ignition, your multi-gauge, and your warning lights. On the right side, you have your shift lever that goes just forward and back, not side to side, because it is a sequential transmission. And you have your emergency brake down below here. All the controls are really light touch. Really light touch steering. It doesn't take much effort to steer it. The clutch is very light. The brakes are quite effective and very light touch. Again, with the accelerator pedal, it has a very light touch as well. The shifter also has a very light touch. Now, sometimes you'll find when you're stopped, completely stopped, it won't go into gear when you press it into a gear. Don't jam it. It is a sequential transmission. It's just the way they work. Just push in the clutch and just put a little gentle pressure towards the gear you want to go into. And then let the clutch out. And when it hits the friction point, it'll go right into gear. On the left side of the cockpit, at the very bottom here, you'll see a little black knob. That is the reverse lockout knob. So in order to go from first into reverse, turn this clockwise, and that'll allow you to get into reverse. To fill your fuel, you can release the cap by simply pressing it, giving it a quarter turn, and then it releases, and then you can unscrew it. When placing the front floor jack, there is a bolt provided to support the chassis. Simply roll the floor jack onto it, and that will jack the front end without crushing the carbon fiber bodywork. Once it's been jacked up into place, simply place your jack stands on the A-arms. Place the floor jack right at the beginning of the green pod here, right in this area. And go back in, and on the center point, you will find a crossbar. Now when doing this jacking, you're going to want a piece of 2x4 on top of your floor jack. Just give it a little extra height, and just jack it there. And then put the jack stands supporting the rear axle. To remove the rear engine cover, first, click the quick release on the bottom here. Just simply press this button and it'll release the ball and socket. It's helpful if you kind of pull it to the side a little bit so it doesn't re-engage on its own. And there's one on the other side as well. Just simply click it and release it. Now pull up the handle here. Now grab this handle and by the exhaust and pull off at a 45-degree angle. This can also be set like this. It has little feet to protect the tabs and the paint. In the rear, check your oil here. Dipstick there, battery here, fuse box for the engine. All your relays are for the engine are in this container here. And your coolant can be checked right up here on the expansion tank. The front green cowl also comes off for maintenance. It's held down by two elastic straps. Just go down in here and reach between these two white panels and you will find a strap. I don't know if you can see this. There's a strap also on the other side in the same place between the two white panels. Just reach up and release it. Once it's released, you can just grab it here and it lifts up and pulls out. With the front cowl pulled off, you can access many areas in here. These are your two brake fluid reservoirs, your relay box and fuse box for all lights and horns. You can access all the electronics on the back of the dash very easily. And down inside, you can access the steering mechanism, quite a bit of the wiring. There's a VIN code here as well. And you can get a good look at the cantilevered coilover suspension.